Hi everyone, this is 12th Man from the Stands. We're back with another video. Uh, with me today it's Mohsin only. Daiyaan couldn't be here because he's contracted dengue.
Get well soon, Daiyaan.
Best
Wish
of
you
luck.
were here.
Wish
I
you were
miss
here.
you. And I'm glad you're not here because Liverpool failed to beat United at Old Trafford. So
Yeah, but
I'm
it's
glad
still,
he's not here.
but still, it was
No.
a draw. It wasn't complete, failure or something. So let's get started on this week's video, Match Day 9 for EPL. So first talking point is, of course, as we just mentioned, Liverpool versus Manchester United, 1-1 draw between United and Liverpool. So, what's your take on it, Mohsin?
Well, I asked different fans from United as well as Liverpool. I get different opinions.
Okay.
Now, I'll come to what I think about the match. There are a lot of people who've been criticizing that Liverpool should have won.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some United fans in fact, who say that United should have won. Now,
Yeah, at the end, United really lost the plot.
yeah,
Because I saw the whole match.
see,
as well.
at that time when you saw the match, after watching the match live, as a Liverpool fan, I thought we should have won the game.
Okay.
Okay, but when I saw the highlights again the next day on Monday, Liverpool were absolutely shambolic.
Yeah.
I mean, for the first 80 minutes, there was no attack. They were very lethargic. There was, it didn't look like a number one side in the Premier League.
Yeah,
at
the
moment.
finishing was left a lot to be desired. They didn't. Did make a few saves, but they weren't really real. Saves that he had to make, athletic saves. He just had to dive in, and there wasn't really much venom in the shots.
I'll give credit to Manchester United. After the first 5 minutes, they had a game plan.
Yeah.
That is what, even Jose Mourinho on Sky Sports said, that United looked like a team with a game plan. The only mistake they made in the match was they could not defend that lead.
Yeah.
And that was evident because you know that Liverpool will give it their best to get a goal back, to at least salvage a point from that game. Because I'm sure most of the Liverpool fans, they wanted 3 points. They expected 3 points.
Yeah.
Before the match, if you break it down, I thought 70% it was a Liverpool win, 20% draw, and 10% United win just because they were playing at Old Trafford. But United had a game plan. They were down with injuries, and despite that, I think if you look at that way, then you should be happy with the point that you did not lose at Old Trafford, and it means that Oli has saved his job again.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that he saved his job. I understand they're still 14th. They're just 10 points, 1 point above relegation. But still, it's still early days to say that he's saved
It
his
is
job.
early. I mean, it feels like you've played major chunk of the season, but it's only October. They've only played 9 matches so far.
Yeah.
Liverpool is still at the top. We shouldn't panic. See, you cannot win all 38 matches. Okay, that is next to impossible. Yes, you can emulate the Invincibles, which Wenger achieved with Arsenal in 2003-04, but that is
I
again
believe
very
City,
different.
City also.
City were close, but I think they lost a game or so, and even Chelsea
Yeah.
was close in 2005, 4-5, but they lost one game to Manchester City that time before the Arab money. So they lost a game. I think Sean Wright-Phillips scored, if I remember correctly. But see, a draw or even a defeat is going to come eventually.
Eventually.
Because the Premier League becomes tougher and tougher every season. More and more teams are vying for the top 6 spot now. Before the start of the season, you said the top 6 might remain the same, but Leicester has, might have added something to the party. They've brought something
So,
to it.
do you think that another possible reason for this was because of Europe? Because this week it's UEFA Champions League.
No, I
matches as
think
well.
there was a gap. The international break came into play.
Yeah.
Brazil and Senegal had a match in Singapore, so they had to travel from England. Some players, I'll talk about Liverpool players.
Yeah.
Firmino and Mane, they had to travel to Singapore. And from inside, I have a few people I know in Singapore who were part of the organizing committee. They said that the sponsors had made a deal that Mane and Firmino have to play because they have a very big fan base in Singapore of Liverpool as well as other clubs. But I'll tell you of what I know. They had to play, so they might not have played the entire 90 minutes, but they did play a part. And even the travel is
But But even keeping that in mind, I believe Mane was Liverpool's man of the match. He was the one, although he could not score
no,
the goal,
I
his
think
goal was disallowed.
He was quiet. He was very quiet in the second half. I expected him to come all guns blazing.
Yeah.
And Firmino, one of my favorite strikers, I think he's one of the best players in the Premier League right now, the best Brazilian, without any doubt, to play in the Premier League. But he was very much off colour, and you should expect that United will defend. They will have 2-3 defenders on top of you. For me, the game changed till the 80th minute. I thought it was, we were done and dusted. United was going to get a draw, a win, in fact, sorry. And, this was going to be an embarrassing defeat. The reason I say embarrassing, because this was the weakest United side in the last 30 years we've seen.
That's true.
And the most strongest Liverpool team we've seen. Everyone thought that Liverpool was going to annihilate Manchester United. Although I was a bit pessimistic, because when you're playing at Old Trafford, a Northwest derby match, anything can happen when the stakes are high.
Yeah.
The confidence is high, and United players, they played for the badge. You could see the Solskjaer got it right, but a very good cross from Robertson, which found
It was a
an
good
unlikely goal scorer in Adam Lallana, who is often injured, and it was his first goal since
in
I think
2 years.
Yeah, since 2017 or 16, that was his first goal.
Yeah.
The problem is the midfield. Who is going to cross the ball for Liverpool? I mean, either you have players on the flank, Trent Arnold, Alexander-Arnold from the right, or Robertson from the left, and the midfield, the tireless midfield of Liverpool, who is known for the very good work rate. At that day, they seemed absolutely lethargic. I mean, they had no idea. Jordan Henderson.
Yeah, I'd say Henderson was, I believe, was completely missing from the match.
He was missing. I mean, if he was there, Liverpool fans, don't get angry. There's a debate between Liverpool fans since before they won the Champions League. He is the captain of the club, but if he was there during that cross by Robertson, would he have made that run in the box and scored?
I don't know.
Because Lallana is more of an attacking-minded player. He's more of an attack-minded player. He went in there, and it was missed by everyone. And Robertson was known for his brilliant deliveries, and he found the right man just at the right time.
Yeah. Having said that, I'll say Manchester United's forwards were a lot better because they made a lot of runs. Although James took a couple of very hard blows at the expense of Matip and Virgil van Dijk, but I'd say they were running really well, especially James. I really praise James, and although Rashford got the goal,
he is a very good player. Before the match, when I was sitting with a few Liverpool fans watching the match, the main person to watch out for was Daniel James because of his pace.
Yeah.
And he's young. He has a lot to show.
And he's got a good work rate. And even Pereira was.
Pereira was very good. Pereira was good. James, now I knew he plays on the left. He will probably target Trent Alexander-Arnold, who is no doubt a very good right back, but he's very good going forward rather than defending. So that he's one of the weakest links in the back four. I'm not taking anything away from him. He is no doubt one of the best right backs in world football right now, and he's only.
Yeah, you're a Liverpool fan, so
but he is his performance. That corner he took quickly against Barcelona, Origi scored. He is good. See, trust me, if he was to leave, you'll see his value. I'm sure all the top clubs would come vying for his signature. But James attacked well. The VAR decision again.
Let's come to Origi's VAR decision. So what do you think? There are two basically decisions that are talking points for VAR in this match, and a couple of others in other matches as well. So let's get first to Origi's foul. What do you think? I personally think it was not a foul.
I think it was a foul. But
he was looking for it.
He was looking for it, but see, sometimes you have to simulate to get the attention of the referee.
The ball had already gone, and then he fell so theatrically that even if I was the referee, then I wouldn't.
See, that was and that is what the referee might have thought.
Yeah.
But there's a controversy that some say that the VAR is not there for fouls; it's there to check the goals.
Yeah.
It is there to check the fouls if it's in the 6-yard box. And some referees, they might, there's no consistency. In other sports, for example, if you talk about, I'm not sure if the audience might be familiar, but if you talk about tennis or cricket, the rules are fixed.
Yeah.
No, there are very few moments where an umpire can take a decision based on his own discretion. But in football, I've seen VAR, it's different. The same decision might be overturned or that it might stay in the Champions League. The same decision might be given in a different manner in Italy or Spain, but in England it's controversial at the moment.
So if you look at VRs in other competitions, there's a screen for the on-field referee as well, where they actually.
I mean, see, the referee.
So the referee can, actually see.
The referee is there. They have a earpiece now. Technology is taking advancement. Now the referee is in constant communication.
But
what is he telling? What has the referee seen? And the Premier League refereeing, apart from the VAR.
Yeah.
I think the referees are becoming a bit lazier because of the VAR. They think even if I don't make a decision, or if I ignore it, the VR might come into play, and it has to be reviewed. Maybe it might take a couple of seasons, maybe 1 or 2, to get it right. But see now, the problem is we're arguing about VR because even we're not sure what is the right decision at the moment. Who are the ones making the decision? What is the thought process? What are the grounds they base their decisions upon?
Okay.
This is unclear even to the managers as well as the referees themselves.
And what about the second decision? I think it was.
I think that was a handball.
According to the new rules, it is a handball.
That will be regardless if it was intentional or not.
It's according to the new rules a handball.
I have no doubt on that. But even though the goal stands, despite how much we argue on it, the point is shared at the end.
Yeah.
But you talk about it again, a very good finish by Marcus Rashford.
Yeah.
He was criticized by our own United fan, Daiyaan. So
he hates Rashford.
He hates Rashford, but he's a good. See, he needs that confidence. This goal, when you sometimes score in big matches, you get this confidence.
And I think he was coming from a brace from the international break.
He was coming from a brace, and Alisson Becker was in goal for Liverpool, and I'm sure he must have wanted to keep a clean sheet. But if Liverpool had scored that goal, like let's say in at the very beginning of the second half, maybe in the 68th minute or even the 70th minute, if Liverpool had 20 minutes of more,
then it would have been a different story.
Then Liverpool had the chance because Oxlade-Chamberlain came very close. When Keita and Naby Keita, Lallana and Oxlade-Chamberlain came in, Liverpool looked somewhat, the intent increased to attack. And Origi, again, we have to be active in the transfer market. Now this is a situation, we have some players in the, Ryan Brewster is there, he's a good striker. Harvey Barnes, he's very young, but you can give him some minutes. When you know you're winning, just give him a few minutes. That will play and grow, he'll grow into confidence. It will play, into his own experience.
Okay.
But, like, if any of our front three, Salah was missing, that is one thing we haven't touched upon. If Salah was there, maybe Liverpool would have been more intent on attacking.
Because of Salah not being present, Mane had to switch flanks as well.
Mane had to switch, and Origi looked clueless because he doesn't fit that system still. The way Klopp plays now, I might be criticized and questioned, does Jurgen Klopp have a plan B? Because we've talked about it before, Manchester City, they have a very strong bench. Yeah. Even if you read the names on the bench. Now when Lallana, Naby Keita, they're injury prone. Origi, or even if you talk about Milner, he's old now. He's almost, might probably be his last season. We do not have players who can, come and change the game every time. This is one-off. It's not going to happen every time. Origi struggled. He struggled when he played for 30-odd minutes against Newcastle. He struggled against United on Sunday night as well.
All right, so that's a good take on the match. So moving on, the next fixtures for both the teams. For first Liverpool has a Champions League match today against Genk. And which they're expected to win.
They should. It's going to be tough. I think if they're playing away, it's going to be tough because they haven't been defensively very good. They played at home against Red Bull Salzburg, but we just scraped it 4-3. So let's hope Genk doesn't, put up any fight or sucker punches. So the defense has to be, we're conceding a lot of goals. Van Dijk, taking nothing away from him, he doesn't seem to be the same Van Dijk he was last season. So
and the big match of next week, Tottenham versus Liverpool. Liverpool's just 6 points ahead of City, so this is a very big match in the context of the of the EPL.
Yes, they are, but if you add United, they're 10 points, and Arsenal 15 points. That equals to Liverpool's points of 15. So we're still doing well.
Yeah.
But anything can happen. City will never give up, which we saw last season till Christmas. Liverpool was on top. Similar, I think, 8 points. and we slipped up. We lost to City, and I think we had a couple of draws, and City they just kept on winning.
Yeah.
But City have injury concerns of their own. If we talk about Liverpool against Tottenham, so it can go either way again. I think the game is at Anfield, right?
Yeah, it's a home game for Liverpool.
It's a home game. Liverpool are very strong at home. Tottenham are struggling in the league, but they've just won 5-0 yesterday against Red Star Belgrade.
Yeah, we'll move on to Tottenham in a bit. So what's your prediction for the match?
I think Liverpool should win 2-0 for me. Liverpool.
All right, so let's write it down so that we can review. 2-0
Sure, I think
for Liverpool. Liverpool, and last week you said 2-0 against Manchester United. 2-1
Yeah, I
against
said. In fact, I said 3-1. I thought Shaqiri was injured. I thought he was going to come and sack Solskjaer like he did against Mourinho. But what is your prediction? I know you're a United fan. What do you think is going to happen between Spurs and Liverpool?
I personally think Liverpool will win because right now Tottenham's facing a lot of problems in its own, and Liverpool's going good, although they did not play really well against Manchester.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd still say it's still Liverpool, and I'd say 1-0 or 2-0 to Liverpool.
Okay.
All right, moving on to United. United's next match is against Partizan on the Europa League, and then
it's a tough place to go. Serbia is not an easy place, especially in the Europa League. When you visit these teams, you don't face on regular basis. They might not be in the Champions League. You don't play them in your own league, and you go
also I
away.
believe there's injury issues going on already, and
they have a lot of injury issues. But the most positive thing for United is they have Anthony Martial coming in.
Yeah,
he's one of the best attackers in United's team right now.
Yeah,
a full fit Martial. I'm sure if he's fit, if he's in form,
in the first team for
he
sure.
can guarantee you at least 15-20 goals. That is a potential he has.
Yeah,
this is the time. This is the season for him to come out on top, regardless of wherever United finish. Like similar like what Eden Hazard did last year. Chelsea wasn't doing well in the league, but he still managed to score 16 odd goals and register, I think, 15 odd assists in the league.
Sure.
So you have to come out with your individual brilliance to lift the team up.
And next week they're facing Norwich, which again, United on paper should win,
but Norwich is a surprise team. They have Teemu Pukki, a Finnish striker, who did start off very well in the beginning of the league, but I think Norwich have lost their way at the moment.
Yeah.
They have a midfielder, I think Cantwell, if I remember his name correctly. So, but are they travelling away? Now that is another thing I'm not updated with. But if United are travelling away, then you can even expect a draw or a Norwich win. I won't be surprised. Norwich,
the Canaries can upset
the Canaries upsetted Manchester City.
Yeah.
And but do not underestimate United again. Everyone thought that Liverpool was going to come out with a win.
Yeah.
Now, if you see from a Manchester United perspective, you might think we should have won the game because till 88th minute we kept Liverpool quiet. But in the last 10 minutes, Liverpool came back. That was expected. They will. Klopp had to throw the kitchen sink.
Yeah.
He had to rescue a point at least to save. To be saved from any sort of insults. Liverpool, they might feel that we should have won the game, but the way they've played, when I saw the highlights again, even a point from that is a blessing, and that was
I think United this season has been the team that has dropped most points from winning position.
It has, and it's the opposite. Usually it was in the past United who used to make comeback, and you need all the luck in the world to win the title. That is true. What Liverpool's been missing for a lot of years.
And I believe securing a point was very important for Liverpool. Otherwise, I believe there was a saying from Alex Ferguson that you need, for the top teams, a draw is as equal to a win.
Yeah, a draw away from home is equal to a win, but you need to win your home matches.
Yeah.
So. Against Spurs, they should win, but I'm not counting Spurs out. Daiyaan Alam is back for Spurs.
Yeah.
He's starting games now and he looks in form. Heung-min Son has scored in the Champions League recently against Red Star. He's in form. Harry Kane has found his scoring rhythm again. So it's going to be a good match. It's going to be a Super Sunday match again.
All right. So the next match that we want to discuss is Tottenham versus Watford. It was a 1-1 draw between Tottenham and Watford, and some say it was very lucky on the case of Tottenham. So let's begin. First of all, a good goal by Watford to start off the match.
Very good goal, but again, Tottenham, what we've been talking about, dropping points at home against Watford. Watford is a team who are favourites for being relegation candidates this season. Were, in fact, I think they are. I mean, were at the start.
Yeah.
The way they started and the way City thrashed them 7-0, I think.
Yeah.
So this is a team you should be looking to beat at home. Now, we were talking about Pochettino being sacked.
Yeah.
So he needs to save his job. And the highlight again was the VAR, a controversy that I think it was Dele Alli involved in the VAR.
Yeah, there are two VAR decisions in this game. First one was a foul on Delafeu.
Yeah, Vertonghen's foul on Delafeu, which wasn't given, I think.
Yeah, it wasn't given because initially there was a foul on, I believe, Danny Rose by a Watford player, and it was a dive, I'd say. Even I'd say that it was not a foul. It was simulation. It was Pereira, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. Then immediately a couple of minutes after that, a similar foul took place in the other part of the pitch, and Vertonghen was fouling Delafeu, and the referee over here made the same decision.
That is what I've said earlier as well, that the decisions are not consistent. Are the referees basing the VR decisions on their own biasness, or is it on their own discretion from their own understanding from the rules or what they've seen? And I don't know what is the coordination communication between the on-field referee and the video assistant referee. What is being discussed? Do they consult the on-field referee again?
Yeah, I believe they do, because if you look at this, if you looked at the second one, VAR, I don't know if whether it was a technical glitch or what, but according to some, it was that the VAR experts wanted to overrule the goal and give a handball, because Dele Alli for the equalizer was seen to be handling the ball. Yeah. But the referee overruled the VAR team and gave the goal.
Now you see the same thing happened with Sadio Mane's goal in Liverpool match.
Yeah.
And that was given as a hand.
Yeah, and that's according to the rules, the new rules, that even if it's unintentional,
it should be a hand. That is from what I've heard. I've asked a few football fans, are there any changes in the rule, just to update myself, and they've confirmed to me as well, if it's a hand, it's a hand.
It's a hand.
Like the similar way we play street football.
Yeah, it's a hand. It's a hand. It doesn't
matter. It's a hand, whether it's intentional or not.
While attacking.
While defending, there are exceptions, because the attackers, the midfield, the strikers, they shoot at such speed, you cannot always duck out.
Yeah. So, in my opinion, is why it was a hand. But they say that the referee overruled the VAR team and then still gave a goal, which actually saved Tottenham.
Yeah, they saved. I mean, it was an embarrassing situation, and the Watford fans, they were singing, "You can't even win at home."
Yeah, and on top of that, there were a lot of Tottenham fans, because before the match there was a documentary going on the Tottenham's new stadium, and that the crowd, that the players can actually listen to the crowd, and if you tune in, the crowd was chanting to sack Pochettino. So the crowd was completely against.
Football is a very cruel sport. Pepe Reina once said that football is a very cruel sport. Former Liverpool goalkeeper who went to Napoli then. And the reason he said that, the context was that he talked about Rafa Benitez. Benitez, there's still a debate that is he a good coach or is he a bad coach, even amongst Liverpool fans. A lot of fans, especially in Spain, they make a mockery out of him, the way he, handled while losing their Clásico. He was eating a sandwich in the dugout, so he wasn't concerned on that. But he won the Champions League with Liverpool and he won the FA Cup. But he had made a few decisions, but he made a few good decisions as well. He got players like Xabi Alonso, Luis Garcia, Fernando Torres in the team, Pepe Reina as well.
Yeah.
But people, the moment you're winning, you're the best guy there is in the world. But as soon as you start losing, everyone wants you out. And it's happened with greats like Arsene Wenger as well.
I think that's true in all sports, even if you look at if you move to cricket.
Yeah, it happens. And again, from the VAR, Watford coach Sanchez Flores, he questioned VAR's use in the Premier League. He said it's very subjective. It is there to correct the decisions made on the pitch, but it is not doing so. It is coming with a lot of controversies, and one decision can change your entire season. It can change at the end of the season. Right now, you might say it was one match. It's okay, let's move on. But that one match can make a lot of difference in the point system at the end. So
and as well as goal differences.
So it's goal. And talking about Tottenham, Pochettino, see he's done a great job with the team.
Yeah.
He was very good with Southampton. And Southampton haven't recovered, haven't been able to, carry on his from where he left.
Yeah, that's definitely.
And Spurs, the first time they reached the Champions League, it was because of Pochettino. He was there. He's the man who's made good substitutions. But he's been criticized. Now the board has been criticized as well. Was there a need for a new stadium right now? Should they have invested more in the players? They have invested a few more in the players this time, but now. Argentine Lo Celso, who came from Real Betis.
Yeah, I think
he hasn't been getting his chances.
Yeah, I think he's lost the dressing room.
I think he has. Christian Eriksen was not allowed to leave Tottenham. I think he doesn't want to play for the club.
Yeah.
Vertonghen and Alderweireld, they wanted to leave the club at one point, and he managed to keep them. They were very close to joining United or elsewhere. But do they want to stay at the club? And you should make changes. You cannot keep expecting the same core of players to perform season in, season out, or week in, week out.
And of course,
you need to bring in new blood. Need to
strengthen your bench and
need to strengthen the bench and bring in sense of competition. If I'm not playing well, I'll know that I can be replaced anytime. But if I know there's no one else to replace me at the moment,
I'll get complacent.
Yeah, you get complacent. You get complacent. That is one thing he needs to address.
But having said that, I think Tottenham took confidence out of this draw because the next night they went just last night they won a thumping final win at home, and so I think they've taken confidence out of it.
Yes, they have. But mind you, with all due respect, the level of opposition was a bit different. The Premier League is very tough. Red Star Belgrade. The name in Serbian is, I think, something like Crvena Zvezda. It's Red Star Belgrade in English. They are a very good team. They have a few accolades to their name in Europe, but they're not the same. Football's not the same like it was 30, 40 years ago. So a weaker opponent, but yes, confidence that the players like Son, Lamela, and Kane have managed to get on the score sheet. And Liverpool up next at Anfield. It's not a good time for Spurs to be facing such a difficult opposition, that too away from home.
Okay, so you're still sticking with your 2-0?
I'll still stick with 2-0. I hope it's 2-0. I want Liverpool to maintain a clean sheet. The goal differences can help at the end, as well as the confidence, because Van Dijk has been dribbled past, and there was a clip of him, I think, trying to grab Rashford's shorts or trying to get him bare naked. So, and a Korean striker, I forgot his name, Chan, I think he also dribbled past Van Dijk. So he's not the same Van Dijk. He's still an intimidating figure at the back foot, but he needs to come in form because there are a lot of tough fixtures. We still have City to play in the Premier League, home and away.
That's true. All right, so I guess this is a wrap for Tottenham versus Watford. Match number 3 that we want to talk about is Manchester City versus Crystal Palace, which Manchester City won 2-0, I believe.
Oh.
Yeah. So let's start with the goals. Let's start with the match. I saw the match. Did you?
I didn't see the match, unfortunately. I was on travel up north, and I was in the jungles with no network coverage. Luckily, I was right on time back to.
You were in the jungle, but Daiyaan got dengue.
Yeah, he got dengue, but I was, I think, in a very clean jungle without any mosquitoes. It was very cold out there. So it was very cold up north in the mountains. I came back to Karachi right on time on Sunday morning, so I tuned into Liverpool versus United that day. But talking about Manchester City, I've seen the highlights, and I think they were dominant despite missing crucial players in that defense lineup. They had to make do. I think Rodri
and
Fernandinho were playing in defense.
Yes,
that is not the natural position.
Yeah, and a lot of talk was there that Crystal Palace's forwards, who have a lot of pace, especially Zaha, would be able to take advantage of it. And John Stones was on the bench, and there was a time that Fernandinho got a blow to his head, and there were scenes that whether if Stones was going to come on the field or not. but luckily he recovered and City then just
Fernandinho, he's an exceptional player. I mean, I don't know what City would do without him, to be honest.
yeah he's
Talk about
he can play in the midfield.
he can do anything. He can even shoot. I mean, I've seen him score a goal at the moment, but the guy can shoot. He can dribble. He can pass. He can tackle.
He's a
an
utility
exceptional
player.
He's a utility player, and he's a very integral part of Guardiola's plan in the midfield. But he's not getting any younger, and City has to find a replacement. Rodri is there. I don't know if he's there as a replacement for Fernandinho in the future, but let's see. So I saw the highlights, and David Silva scored a beautiful goal.
Yeah, both of the goals were actually really good. If you see Jesus' header, you don't really see nowadays that a diving headers nowadays.
You don't, because football has changed now. You used to have those tall, lanky strikers in the box. Now Aguero's not a tall guy. He's 5'9", 5'10".
Even Jesus is not.
Jesus is 5'8", 5'8". In fact, so they're not tall, but they still, that is the hunger. That is why we respect Manchester City.
Yeah, and the placement was perfect. The keeper couldn't do
Placement
anything.
perfect, but I'd like to again, talk about David Silva's goal, the assist from Sterling.
It's the assist from Sterling. A full disclosure, I personally hate Sterling. And when he was sold
the
by
Liverpool
Liverpool
fans like you for that.
yeah, and when he was sold by Liverpool for 40 million, I believe, and I was like, I don't know why he got 40 million.
See, he's a bargain. I mean, he wanted to become a Ronaldo wannabe. That's what people say. He
and
it
went to his head as well. And there was a time that he struggled even at City.
He struggled at City, even at Liverpool. We had SAS, Suarez, Sterling, and
Sturridge.
Sturridge. Suarez, Sturridge, the triple S, I think.
Yeah,
Sterling, Suarez, and Sturridge. So they were there. His finishing was questioned. He was a very good player. He could dribble, pass, but his finishing was questioned. Guardiola has changed him. Guardiola has made him into a complete player.
Selfish as well.
He used to be selfish, yes, and he did not make good finishes. His finishing was poor, but Guardiola has transformed him into an exceptional player. He manages to keep Leroy Sané out of the squad.
Yeah.
He can play on the left, he can play on the right, but prefers to play on the left.
And he's got pace as well.
He has pace, he can dribble.
The only thing that he can't do, I believe, is cross. He doesn't really cross that well.
His crossing isn't the best, and I haven't seen him score long range goals, or free kicks either. But City have it covered. They have other players.
They have got De Bruyne.
De Bruyne is there. David Silva is there. Riyad Mahrez is there. So
they really need.
Bernardo Silva is there. Zinchenko. I mean, you name it. They have. They have all departments covered.
They have the checkbook for it.
They have the checkbook for it. But again, I say the reason why I respect Guardiola. You may have all the cash in the world, but to make those players play in the system you want.
Yeah, that
is something good. I mean, beautiful football. Despite the cash you have to make your team play the way you want them. And that pass from Sterling. That was like you held the square button on.
And you lobbed it over.
You lobbed it like you held the L1 and triangle and lobbed it.
And David Silva.
Circle finishing by David Silva.
Yeah, and we need to talk about David Silva as well. I believe it's been rumored that it's his last season in City.
This might be last season. Spanish players, they tend to go back to Spain. They miss sunny Spain.
Yeah,
but David Silva has been a wonderful servant for Manchester City. A very underrated player. There was a question one time that who's a better midfield? Is it Ozil or is it David Silva? I was always in for David Silva, because he offered a lot. The first time I saw David Silva was in Euro 2008. He was a versatile player. He was playing on the flanks, either the left or the right. He switched alongside Iniesta.
Yeah.
He was a very good player. Him and David Villa, when they came, David Villa moved to Barcelona, Silva came to Manchester City. And the last decade he's spent with Manchester City has been absolutely, revolutionizing.
Yeah, his ball control is exceptional.
His ball control, his passing, his vision, his leadership
and his movement.
Well. His movement.
Being at the right place at the right time, for the goal as well.
His leadership as well, that is something people miss out on. He's a wonderful player and we're going to miss him when he leaves the Premier League. That is, unfortunately we realize the worth of the player after he's leaves.
Gone.
He's gone. So
yeah. And also crucially in the match, because I saw the match, Paris at the end had a really good flurry of chances, And at the time, it really showed that even though you've got the best team, you keep the ball, you've got the best defense, but you've got a great keeper as well in Ederson. He's made a couple of exceptional saves.
Ederson is fantastic.
And kept a clean sheet.
Ederson is fantastic. Two Brazilian keepers, Alisson and Ederson. A headache for the Brazilian national team when it comes to selecting. Both are very good. Ederson came from Benfica, relatively unknown, and people were like, "Who is Ederson?" And he has been phenomenal. He was I think put into Guinness Book of World Record last year for the longest free kick.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, he was. So he can shoot. He might start scoring from his goal line. But
City can do it.
He's a very good goalkeeper, excellent. And they had a very shaky defense that day, but they've done their job. Crystal Palace, Wilfred Zaha, a lot of what is expected from him. He wanted to leave the club. And if you want to leave the club, you want good offers, you have to show for it. That you have to show it through your performances, not by words or social media.
Yeah.
So I think it's been a tough season for him. And Wan Bissaka, since he's left Crystal Palace.
For Manchester.
So yeah, from Manchester United. So Palace have to find his replacement, and Zaha's not been firing. So.
And Ayu's not been firing either.
Ayu hasn't been firing, yeah.
Yeah. Moving on. City just has been going on guns blazing. They even scored 5-1 on the Champions League just last night.
Expected. Atlanta has been struggling in the Champions League. The first time they're playing in the Champions League, they even lost away to Dinamo Zagreb, a team from Croatia, the Croatian champions, who are all often expected to lose rather than win. And even at home, they lost away, and they lost even at home. They put up a good fight against, I don't remember who they faced. Sorry, who's the team in the group?
I don't remember.
So they lost at home as well. And City has been absolutely, that is expected. They like to trash their opponents. And they have a game against Aston Villa coming up in game week 10, on game week 10. So I expect City to win.
Of course.
The threat for City can be Jack Grealish, the captain of Villa, and James McGinn. I don't know what is his first name exactly, but McGinn, he's a Scottish attacker, so they could be the threat. But I think even despite missing out on key names in defense, I think City at home, they're going to hold out they're going to win.
So although City is now just 6 points behind, you're still
threatening. It is threatening. They're coming close, but eventually, like I said before, draws and losses will come. They've already lost 2 games. Now it's tough of mental strength. Can they keep on winning? Can they become consistent? Because they do win 2-3 games on the trot, but they start to lose it in the 4th or 5th game. Is this cycle going to continue, or are they going to recover?
Europe is going
Europe's
to
going to take a toll on them as well, even on all of the teams competing in Europe. Let's see what happens till Christmas. The Christmas period is very tough. You have a lot of matches together coming in.
Yeah.
And then the Champions League moves into the knockout stages where it gets more intense.
That's true.
But I don't know, will City focus their switch, will City switch their focus from the league to the Champions League?
I think City has the bench strength to focus on both.
They have, but the injuries are concerned. De Bruyne had a few niggles last season. He's been injured in a few, I think missed a game or 2 this season, so have to keep him fit, but he's an exceptional player. He's in very good form this season, and they have striking options. Jesus is there, Aguero is there, good keeper.
Aguero was rested for this match.
Aguero was rested. He was I think was looking eager to come on, but they wanted to rest him because of Champions League.
Of course.
That is where Liverpool is lacking, the bench strength and the options to choose from.
All right, so that's it for Manchester City versus Palace for this week. Match day 9, Chelsea versus Newcastle. So let's begin. Mr. Super Frank is making Chelsea.
On Frank winning, growing into confidence as a manager. Yes, the scoreline doesn't reflect the dominance of Chelsea in the game.
I saw the game, and Chelsea should have scored like 8 or 9 goals.
I think Hudson-Odoi should have had 3 hat-tricks of assists that day.
Yeah.
And Pulisic, a positive sign. a player who I'd like to see personally. He was a player linked with Liverpool from he was there in Dortmund. He was only 16, 17 when he joined the German club, Christian Pulisic, an American player who's been touted to be the next big thing in American football, or as they say, American soccer. Soccer. So, in the international break, the US played against Canada. Now, I don't remember whether it was home or away. The US, they lost 1-0 to Canada, and it was the first time in 34 years they've lost against the North American rivals. And Christian Pulisic, he's not been getting game time at Chelsea. He was subbed in the 57th minute, and he was crying on the bench. And there were a few questions thrown at Frank Lampard as to, would he be getting game time? Would he be just another regular bench warmer at Chelsea? And Lampard has said, do not worry, there's still a long chunk of season left.
Yeah.
He was purchased last season in January, and he was put out on loan just before the transfer ban came into effect. And he played a key part in that assist, in leading up to the goal for Marcos Alonso. Marcos Alonso, another one who's been questioned many times for his
defensive duties.
He's very good when he goes in front. He's very good in set pieces, and his shooting is also good. But
he's got a good left foot.
He's got a very good left foot. He was a good buy. He was in Bolton before. He was in Fiorentina in Italy when I think Antonio Conte purchased him, and he was a good buy. But defensively, he's been criticized a lot. The other option you have is Emerson, who's better than Alonso defensively, but going on the offense, I think his crossing or his set piece ability is attacking. Arsenal is not as good as Marcos Alonso.
Sure.
So Chelsea played well. A lot of positives for Frank Lampard.
Actually, I saw the match and it seemed for a moment that Newcastle was ahead and they parked the bus because there were so many chances.
Newcastle was going to do that. Steve Bruce, when he took over, when Benitez left Newcastle, a lot of Newcastle fans were angry, especially at the owner Mike Ashley, who's been a very controversial figure in north of England at Tyneside. He's made a lot of erratic decisions. I think Benitez was the best manager you could have. The wealth of experience, his record speaks for himself. He's not been successful at Real Madrid, Inter Milan, and his career can be questioned at Liverpool, but he's still managed to win the Champions League and FA Cup, and he came very close to winning the league, but Manchester United were too strong that time. Alex Ferguson was the difference. So Benitez was there, but he never provided him any funding to buy and make transfers.
That's true.
And right now, Steve Bruce, when he came in, a few signings have been made. Brazilian striker, I think, Joe Linton.
I don't really follow Newcastle.
Yeah, but no, even
I left Newcastle when I was following Newcastle when Alan Shearer left. He retired.
Yeah, he was a great player, and he's questioned the club ownership management, Mike Ashley. Lots and lots of times, many Newcastle greats have done that. So he's there, and Saint Maxim, a winger or a French winger, I think, he came from France, Saint Etienne, or I don't remember, but these are players who you can use to attack with. But Newcastle did well at home against United, but when you're playing away it is not easy in the Premier League anywhere you go now. Chelsea's next fixture is against Burnley away.
Yeah,
I think I don't know. There might be an upset coming, maybe in the form of draw or a defeat for Chelsea.
No, and
because Burnley, they really know how to park the bus. Sean Dyche, he's a very defensive manager, and they call him the Ginger Mourinho. So he knows how to park the bus.
That's true. And also, Chelsea has a really tough game today in the Champions League as well against Ajax.
Ajax are the team to beat.
Yeah, and in their group they've got Valencia as well. So they just might end up losing.
They lost to Valencia at home, a game they should have won at least. Bartlett missed a penalty, and he was criticized for taking penalties.
Yeah.
But they won against Lille. They performed better, but this Chelsea side is growing into confidence.
Yeah, but Josh Barkley has been really off color in Chelsea.
He has been, but Lampard now he can take the risks. He has some players there. Mason Mount is doing exceptionally well. Tammy Abraham, he missed a couple of chances that day, and he hit the post.
Yeah,
but
he
he's doing
hit
very
the
well.
Crossbar as well.
He's doing very well. He's growing into confidence. He's keeping Olivier Giroud out, and there's news that Giroud might be leaving the club in January. because the Euro 2020 is going to come and he's not getting. He might be opted out of Ajax from the French squad because he's not getting any minutes at Chelsea.
Yeah.
So Tammy Abraham has done that. Hudson Odoi, he's coming back from injury, looking very sharp, and the revelation for Chelsea this season has been Jorginho. The man criticized last season, purchased by Sarri from Napoli, wanted by City as well as Chelsea. He chose to come to his former boss Chelsea, Sarri, who was at Napoli, and he was like one of the worst players for Chelsea last season. According to fans, they booed him. His own fans booed him when he had the ball at his feet. They just called him sideway passer with nothing passes. But this season, he's been very good. Lampard has made Kante and Jorginho play together. So and Kante was missing for the match.
Yeah, basically what you're saying is that this ban that's on Chelsea.
This ban has helped Chelsea in a lot of ways. They aren't looking.
They're looking inside at the players that they have.
They have found players that who can play. And Lampard, he's done it at Derby as well. He played with Mason Mount, and Liverpool's loanee Harry Wilson, he used him very well, and he has a very good IQ. And he, as a player, it was always touted him alongside John Terry to be the next Chelsea manager.
I think he's in the top 5 or top 6 all scorers of, and being a midfielder.
Being a midfielder, absolutely brilliant midfielder, a brilliant player for Chelsea. Even for England, might have a controversial career with the national team for not winning anything. And the English golden generation underachieved, and maybe after Klopp leaves, which I hope he doesn't soon, because he is the driving force for Liverpool. But you might see Steven Gerrard coming in at some point in time. He's currently in Rangers right now, and he was
we see both these midfielders face
legend.
off.
There's still a debate of who's the best midfielder. Is it Gerrard? Is it Lampard? Is it Scholes?
But will Chelsea stick with Lampard? Because
Chelsea
doesn't
really
do well with
have
managers.
a good record, but Lampard will demand respect. He's a former player, former legend of the club.
But Mourinho was.
The fans love him. See, he's made a deal. From what I've heard, he's told the board that he wants the next 3 transfer windows. As soon as the ban is lifted, he wants some time. He's taking over from a weak squad, and he's doing very well at the moment. But maybe he's doing well because he doesn't have any pressure on him. But time will tell. If he starts losing a game or 2 consecutive games, what does he do in the Champions League? If he loses to Ajax tonight, then he's in trouble. Because
he'll probably end up in the Europa League.
If he ends up in the Europa League, it's not easy to win the Europa League. Arsenal is there, United is there, Sevilla, I think they're in the Europa as well.
Yeah.
And who are seasoned winners.
And all of the third position teams would also come back.
All of those. So it's not easy. It's not easy. Yes, those other Champions League teams, we might see Inter Milan, we might see Dortmund in the Europa. So it's not going to be easy, and it's going to take a toll on Chelsea because they have limited players. They have to bring in some youth players in those FA Cups and the Carabao Cup. He needs to experiment. He needs to give lots and lots of minutes to these new players.
All right. So I guess that's about it for the match. I'd say Chelsea should have scored a lot.
They could have
more, and let's see what they do at Burnley.
It's going to be tough, but I think an upset might be on the cards. I feel Burnley might come with a draw, or they might win. They might
Burnley
win. They can. See, Burnley is very good at home, and when it comes to parking the bus, they can do it. But Chelsea's on song. Depends on what happens tonight in the Champions League in Europe.
Yeah.
If they win again, the confidence will be high. Ajax are the high-flying Dutch team in the group. They've defeated Valencia with ease. Semi-finalist last season. Eric Ten Hag has done a brilliant job. He was a man who some Chelsea fans wanted to take over. He knows how to work with youth players.
Yeah,
and he's doing so in Ajax.
All right. Match day 9. Let's talk about Arsenal versus Sheffield United. Arsenal losing 1-0 to Sheffield. It was a good goal by Sheffield United. What's your take on it, Mohsin?
I'm not surprised. Arsenal playing away, they're always vulnerable. They're not doing well away.
Yeah.
Even Bournemouth or the teams they played away, they haven't won. Even at Old Trafford, I thought they might win 3-1. United were shambolic before, but it just came out with a draw. and Sheffield United, surprise of the season.
Yeah, they've got the best defensive record of the
Have
season.
the best
up to now.
defensive record of the season.
They've
I
got-
think they'll probably avoid relegation.
Yeah, definitely. They're up to, I believe, they're sixth or seventh at the moment. They've got the best clean sheets, the most number of clean sheets, and they've conceded the least from open play and overall as well.
They have. They've conceded very less amount of goals, and they can be very stubborn.
Yeah.
We saw against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. They were losing they were 2-0 down, but they still managed to get a 2-all draw at Stamford Bridge. And although Chelsea should have and were expected to win that game because Sheffield are newly promoted side, but they come with a lot of heart, with a lot of intent. They want to stay up. And Sheffield United in the past, whenever they've been promoted back in the Premier League, they've always gone back down.
Yeah.
But this time, I think they're here to stay.
At least for one season, they're doing really well.
At least they're doing absolutely well, and they've managed to get goals as well. But crucial goals, very important goals. They won against Everton away as well. Everton is a decent team on paper, who've not been doing well at their part. They managed to get a win this week against West Ham. But coming back to Sheffield and Arsenal, all praises for Sheffield and all the criticism for Arsenal.
Yeah. Yeah, my brother, if you guys don't know, Salman is a very good, he's an avid follower of Arsenal, and he's a fan of Arsenal.
Yeah, I know him. He's been the Arsenal fan for the last 15 years.
He was like, what is Arsenal doing, especially Pepe? He doesn't like Pepe.
Pepe is, a lot of Arsenal fans were taking a piss at me for, saying that he's going to outscore, outrun, outshadow Mohamed Salah. 72 million signing, wanted by Chelsea, wanted by United.
He's selfish.
Believe. See, I think he's trying too much.
Aubameyang is really good, but
Arsenal. See, in 2015, when I was in England, I was sitting at a pub watching City versus Arsenal, and City won the match. I was sitting with a City fan as a neutral. I said, "Do you think Arsenal can win the league?" And we both had one thing in common, one answer in common.
No.
We said, "Yes." In fact, and you asked me how. I'm talking about 2015 when Wenger was there. I said if they have a decent striker, they cannot win the league with Giroud. They need a striker. Cavani was linked that time. If Cavani was coming in, they could have been contenders for the league. If not, but they could have come second or third, very close in the points table against Chelsea or City, competing against them. But now they have two of the best strikers there are in Europe right now, Aubameyang and Alexander Lacazette, who came back from injury. I think, did he play? Or,
no, I don't think he played.
But he is back from injury. He might start for Arsenal in the coming games. So, two of the best strikers. And they have a creative midfielder on loan from Real Madrid, Dani Ceballos.
Yes, Ceballos has been a revelation for Arsenal.
But the problem is, I think you're paying £350,000 to a player who doesn't play. Wembley doesn't play, and his name is Mesut Ozil.
Yeah. I don't know why I'm a really big fan of Mesut Ozil, and he's a fan favorite. But I think the only problem that he has is his work rate and
his work rate. But see, Arsenal are missing the creativity there.
Yeah.
Chris Wilder, the manager of Sheffield, I think must have been an easy game for him once they got on the score sheet at the 30th minute.
Yeah.
There was nothing. Arsenal lacks creativity. They lacked intent. Pepe missed a chance, I believe, in that game. And when you pay 72 million, you want that player to do everything. That player to, he's a very good dribbler. He scored, I think, 10, 15 goals in France. But this is the Premier League.
But what I've seen from the match and from whatever it is, he doesn't cross. He just comes in. Every time he just comes in.
Trying to be an Arjen Robben, it's not easy. Robben
every time he comes in.
I think he's trying too much. He wants to justify that price tag, and rather than assisting and giving passes or crosses, he just wants to do it all himself and get on the score sheet. So Arsenal, they're lacking creativity. They're lacking when they're away from home. They're a very poor side. And Sheffield United, like I said, they've been there. They're stubborn. They're going to give you a very hard time. So you can expect them to win it's going to be fun how they play against City. Liverpool had a very tough time against Sheffield. They just came out with 1-0 win.
Yeah.
So the very tough team to break down.
But all of this has been really tough. The Arsenal legends have been really tough on as well. Although Arsenal are sitting, I believe they're third or fourth.
Arsenal were, if they had won, they would have only been, I think, a point behind City.
Yeah.
And they would have been just like, I think,
But still,
7, 8 points
but
behind Liverpool.
Yeah, but still, questions are being asked about Emre and his managerial capability, and a lot of
See,
people.
Emre, when you see Emre, he's not continued from where Arsene Wenger left off. Yes. When
But
I
every-
saw the stats on Sky Sports last night. Arsene Wenger's last 25 matches and Emre's first 25 matches for Arsenal, there have been no improvement. I mean, Arsene Wenger, with all due respect, he was, a bit dismal with his record at the end, but
Yeah.
Emre was there to improve. Now, is Emre a big club manager?
Yeah, every person has their own psychology and their own style and their own system which they want to implement on the.
They have, but
And Arsenal is known for sticking with their managers and with their system. So
see, but he doesn't seem to have any ideas. This is where we were talking about in our earlier videos about Frank Lampard. He's lost, I think, 2-3 matches, but he's found a way. He has ideas. He's found a system.
and even in the matches that he lost,
he's found a system.
Chelsea was
He's
playing
found a
really
system which have worked for him. When he played 3 at the back, it worked for him. The next time he played 2 at the back, he suffered, and he switched to 3 at the back, and it's working for him. So you have to be smart. You have to come with, you have to come with answers. You have to search for questions in those defeats, and then you have to come with the answers on
You
your
can't
own.
just keep experimenting.
You can't just experiment. And Emery is doing well in Europa League, but you have an upcoming player like Martinelli, who's a Brazilian playmaker. I've seen him in the Europa League. He's a very good prospect, but he's not getting a chance in the Premier League. He's lacking that intent, these ideas in the midfield. Granit Xhaka, he's
I think
not giving anything in that midfield.
Yeah, the problem I think with Arsenal lies at the back, especially with
It lies at the back.
David Luiz and the keeper.
David Luiz was a panic buy.
Yeah, a good.
David Luiz.
He's not known for his defensive.
He's
ability.
not the player who you want to replace want to bring in for Koscielny.
Yeah.
Koscielny might not again be the perfect defender you have in the league, but he was one of the best they had.
And losing their keeper as well.
Yeah,
they've got a really young keeper at the moment, and I think it just shows lack of experience.
Lack of experience, lack of ideas
Authority.
for Emery. Authority. Does he have control in the dressing room? The Ozil situation, he hasn't handled it well. I mean, the player's earning smackaroos. He's taking 350,000 for doing nothing, just training and just being on the bench. I'd love a job like that.
I think everybody would.
Everybody would love a job like that. Now you're wasting a player, just throwing the club's money out. And legends have criticized him. So Arsenal, this is happening every season. They start off well, and it's not even Feb yet. So
Yeah, they usually taper off immediately after Christmas, but this time they're starting to taper off right now.
They do, and the team selection needs to be questioned. So, what is your long-term fix? They've spent a lot of money, but they haven't spent in the right areas, and it hasn't worked out for them.
And they didn't.
Will
spend
they go out
wisely.
on spending again in January, and January is still 2 months away?
Yeah.
Your league position might get damaged. Tough fixtures. They still have to play City. They have to play Chelsea as well.
Yeah.
But they might get away with Chelsea, but City is going to be tough, and they have to play. It's going to be tough.
And next week they're facing Palace at home.
Playing for Palace, I'll stick with an Arsenal win. Can be a draw, but I'll still stick with an Arsenal win at home.
For me, I'd say Palace has a really good chance of winning because defensively, like I said,
they can.
they're not doing
They
really well.
upsetted. He came out with an upset against Manchester United at Old Trafford.
Yeah.
They won for the first time in
How many
decades,
years?
in many years. I know Van Aanholt, the Dutch left back defender, scored a goal, but
A late finisher.
late finisher. But surprises might be a draw, but I think it's probably an Arsenal win. I think Palace is not going to, win. Emirates, Arsenal are different, a better side at the Emirates. Not saying they're 100% good, 100% perfect at the Emirates, but they're still good. And Lacazette and Aubameyang have a good record at home. It's the away matches which is very concerning for them. If you want to do well in the league, you should at least, the least
Get
you
a
can do is
point.
get a point away from home.
All right. So you're saying a win to Arsenal, let's say 1-0?
Hard to predict the scoreline, but yeah, I think 2-1, 3-1 to Arsenal. They
2-1
can
to
concede a goal
Arsenal.
because of vulnerable defense, but a win to Arsenal. 2-0, 3-1 could go either way.
All right. Thank you, everyone. This has been great. Just do remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Please follow us on Facebook and Twitter as well, and as well as leave comments. Give us suggestions. Tell us what you want us to talk about.
And I'm sure we hope we can have any fans with us one day.
Yeah.
But what do you want to talk about? Is there any team we've missed out on and you want us to talk about?
You want us to focus more on the EPL, on Champions League, on other factors? Just let us know.
Yeah, we'll slowly come to talking about other leagues as well, but I think it's just a start. So we're talking about the Premier League at this moment, and I think that's all for today right now.
No, I think Matchday 10.
Matchday 10 will be back with the reviews, with the results, as well as the upcoming fixtures for Matchday 11 and what happens in the Champions League.
Yeah.
Any upset surprises, but so far the matches we've had, so we haven't had any upsets.
Yeah, it's been smooth sailing. Whatever was predicted has happened.
Yeah, but the upset for game week 9, if we sum up, was
The draw.
the draw.
It was an upset.
It was upsetting, but not
was
exactly.
upsetting
But
for
when on
people.
paper we're playing United, so
Yeah.
still lucky to get away with the point. But the upset of the weekend was
VAR.
Arsenal.
And
The
VAR.
VAR controversy. This will continue. I think if not the next video, it's probably going to pop up in some or sooner or later again. It happens every week now. We're going to become used to it now.
All right. Thank you everyone. Khuda Hafiz.
Yeah,
And
subscribe.
Daiyaan, hope to see you in the next video.
Get well soon, Daiyaan.